This conference will now be recorded.
Can I go ahead with the introduction part, guys? Can you please respond? Can I start the class?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Fine. So, what is an embedded systems? What's your idea about embedded systems? What you are learned up to now about embedded systems? Any idea about embedded systems? Can anybody respond in chat box? What do you think about this embedded systems? Please respond only in chat box. Don't unmute your mic because I'm using the earphones. I'll get disturbance. Okay. What is an embedded systems? Can anybody respond? The strength is too low so that I can pick a guy also. Remember that. Fine. So we all know the common definition. Okay. So we all are aware of that common definition called it's a combination of hardware and software, right? So let's go for the first slide. That so the most common definition is this, right? So it's a combination of hardware and software. So it's a system which is used to control certain machines in an industry using software. Or yeah, good. Very good. So the most common definition is it's a combination of hardware as well as software. Here, what is the hardware and what is the software? What exactly the hardware part and what exactly the software part? Okay, we'll see this. What is the hardware part and what is the software part in the next slide or coming slides. So it's a combination of hardware and software. The first point. Okay, it is designed to perform a specific task, right? The embedded systems are designed to perform a specific task. So here if you read this point, it is designed to perform a task. Let me take an example of a micro oven. Okay, so if you observe the micro oven is used to heat curries, puffs, pizzas. Okay, for heating purpose. Okay, it is micro oven is working on specific task. Okay, used to change the temperatures, right? So micro oven comes under the embedded systems. As like so many like washing machine, refrigerators, so many refrigerators, air conditioners is also comes under the embedded systems, which because they are using and they are doing one specific task. Okay, so this is all about the second point, right? It is used to design to perform a specific task. Embedded systems are designed to perform a specific task, right? So the task has to be completed in a given time period. See, for example, guys, let me take an example of a oven. Okay, say I want to heat a curry. Okay, obviously the micro oven is used to for for heating purpose of curries, like that. So if I want to heat the curry, okay, if I want to heat the curry for sometimes, okay, definitely there should be one particular time period will be there. So for example, if I want to heat the curry, if I keep the curry in that micro oven, it takes 5 hours, 6 hours, and it is not good for us, right? The task, whatever the task, whatever the curry which we kept in the micro oven, it should be heated within a couple of minutes. Certain time period will be there, right? The task has to be completed in a given time period. Okay, this is all about the definition of an embedded system. So it's a combination of hardware and software. Okay, what is a hardware and what is a software, we are going to see in the next slide. So it is designed to perform a specific task. The task has to be specific, right? So for example, if you take an example of micro oven, if you take an example of washing machine, if you take an example of air conditioner, so these are doing the specific tasks only. Multiple tasks cannot be done by these, right? So embedded systems are designed to perform a specific task. The task has to be completed in a given time period. Okay, definitely one particular time period will be allotted for the task, for specific task. Okay, if you take an example of a washing machine, if washing machine takes 12 hours or 24 hours for washing, that's completely we don't want to prefer them, right? So this is all about the introduction or definition of an embedded systems. Here in this slide, they have given an example of a semi-automatic washing machines and fully automatic washing machines. So what is the difference between so both comes under this embedded systems? Okay, the examples of an embedded systems. If you take an example, if you take the semi-automatic washing machines, so everything will be done by the user only. Like we have to set the timer, water level will be observed, amount of detergent, whatever, how much of amount of detergent wants to be used by this washing machine. Like depends upon the clothes, how much of detergent want to be used. All these things will be observed by this user. Okay, what is a fully automatic machines? So if you switch on the washing machine, everything will be done by this washing machine only. Okay, so these are the like both comes under the embedded system, but this is a semi-automatic washing machine. This is a fully automatic washing machine. Guys, remember this. Here in this fully automatic washing machines, if this fully automatic washing machines, we can control this fully automatic washing machines by using an internet. See, for example, we can operate this washing machine by using the internet. See, while you are going on a car, while you are going on a bike, if you are there at any place, you can operate this washing machine by using the internet, which comes under the IoT. Which comes under an IoT. Okay, that is the latest technology. So it is there in the market. Okay, so this is all about this slide. Okay, this is about the definition of an embedded systems, the examples of an embedded systems, semi-automatic washing machines and fully automatic washing machines. Right. So let's go for the next slide. So well, if you observe this slide, it's a combination of obviously the first point, like it's a combination of hardware and software. If you see, if you observe this slide, okay, so whatever the left side is there, it's a hardware part, Atmel microcontroller. So right side, it's a software program. Like as per the logic, we'll write a code. Okay, so which software in which where we'll write a code. Okay, we'll see all these things in coming slides also. Just remember this, it's a combination of hardware and software. So hardware part is left side. Okay. Mahesh, are you attending the class for the second time? Are you from SRM? Okay, so it's a combination of hardware and software. So left side is an hardware. It's a microcontroller which belongs to Atmel family, and so there are so many microcontrollers are there, guys. Okay, here only in this slide there is a hardware part which belongs to Atmel only. There are so many microcontrollers are there. 8051, 8052, 8051. So many microcontrollers are there. We can use whatever depends upon our application, depends upon our requirement. We can use the different types of microcontrollers, but it's a combination of hardware and software. So this is a hardware part and this is a software part. Fine. So what exactly do you know what embedded system consists of? So any guesses? Any guesses what embedded system consists of? Can you please respond? Do you know what an embedded system consists of? What exactly the embedded system consists of? Anybody? Fine. So microcontroller tasks on which it has to do perform. Okay. Tasks on which it has to do perform. Okay, that's okay. What exactly the embedded system consists of? Okay, say fine. So the embedded system consists of three things. First one is input devices. Second one is so it consists of three things: input devices, microcontroller, and output devices. Definitely, these are mandatory for an embedded systems. It's a combination of software and hardware. Okay, fine. So it consists of three things like input devices, microcontroller, and output devices. These are the three things which is mandatory for an embedded systems, right? Fine. What exactly the input devices? What is a microcontroller? What is an output device? So guys, for this, I don't want to go for what is an input device, what is a microcontroller, what is an output device. Let me take an example of an 1100 Nokia phone. If you watch that or if you observe that phone, it's a old phone 1100, right? Nokia. We can call it as a box phone, box type phone. It consists of only 0 to 9 and some special functions like hash, slash, I mean that star, hash, I think so. So only these buttons will be there for that 1100, right? So if you take an example of that, Okay, so for example, if I want to type any number, if you want to type your number like 9100 something like that, so if you obviously you'll press a button like 9. Okay, that is an input. Okay, so actually that 1100 phone do not do like any other functionalities at a time. Okay, the only single functionalities and specific task will be done by that 1100 phone. So in the 1100 phone, microcontrollers are used. Obviously, whenever there is a microcontroller, there is a code inserted in that. If you press that 9, if you want to type your number, if you want to press 9, okay, so that is an input. Okay, you are pressing the 9 button with a button. You are pressing the 9 via button. Okay, obviously button acts as a sensor. If you press that 9, okay, the logic which is or the code which is inserted in the microcontroller, okay, will fetch that. Okay, you press the 9. Okay, as per this 9 there is a code, okay, which will be implemented in the microcontroller, and it can be displayed in it can be displayed in the output in the sense like which is on the screen. This is the best example of what exactly the embedded system consists of. Input devices will be there. Obviously in the 1100 Nokia phone, definitely microcontroller will be there. In that microcontroller there is a code will be there. Okay, as per the logic, the code will be inserted, and there is we can't able to change the code which was inserted in the microcontroller. If you inserted a code in the microcontroller, we do not change it. Okay, so as per the logic, so if you want to press the button like 9 or 100, okay, as per that there should be a code. That code will be it processes the code, and output will be displayed. Output will be displayed in the screen, whatever the small screen will be there. This is exactly what embedded system consists of, right? Input, microcontroller, as well as output devices. Okay, fine. Let's go for the next slide. Yes, so guys, this is the most important slide, that embedded systems hardware. Embedded systems hardware, if you observe here, so many like power supply will be there, power supply is there, input devices, output devices, processor is there, timers and interrupt counters are there, program memory and data memory is there, serial communication ports are there, or serial and parallel communication ports are there, system application specific circuits are there. This is the most important slide in this embedded system introduction. Okay, so how much of power supply will be there in this embedded system hardware? Any guess? If you know, you can respond in chat box, because it's a discussion. Okay, 5 volts, that's good. 5 volts DC power supply will be there in this embedded system hardware part. Okay, if you come back to this processor, okay, obviously processor acts as an heart of this embedded system, right? Depends upon the application, depends upon the user requirement. He can use the 8-bit, 16-bit, or 32-bit process. Okay, if you use this if you use this more process like 32, 64-bit processors, the functionality will be speed. Okay, microcontroller functionalities will be fast. Okay, this is what exactly the processor. But in this 8051 micro, we are going to use this 8051 microcontroller for this total program. In this 8051 microcontroller, 8-bit processors will be there, right? We can going to send this 8-bit of data at a time. Okay, so the processor is heart of an embedded systems, depends upon the user requirement or an applications. Okay, we are going to use different types of process like 8-bit, 16-bit, or 32-bit, or 64-bit data. Okay, so next part is like program memory and data memory. Two memories are there. So we can call this program memory as like code memory also. We can call it as a code memory or data memory, or we can call it as an which is used to store the temporary storage of data is a data memory. Or program memory, we can call it as a code memory. Whatever the code you have written to the microcontroller will be stored in this program memory only. Okay, how much of memory will be there in 8051 microcontroller, we will see while we are discussing about the pin diagram of 8051. Okay, so next part is like timers and interrupt counters. Why we want to use this two parts, like this timer and interrupt controllers? Can anybody? Mahesh, can anybody please respond? So why we need to use these timers and counters? Timers or interrupt controllers, or we can use this, we can call it as a timers and counters. why we need to use this timers and counters in this embedded system hardware. Square wave generators, okay. That's a good point. Fine. So these timers and interrupt controllers are used to give some delay. Exactly. So guys, remember that in these embedded systems, if you want to give some exact delay, remember this, most important. Internal operations. That's good. Internal operations in the sense, like, can you give an example? Operations like delay, right? So guys, in this embedded system, remember this most important point. In this embedded systems, if you want to give some delay, right? So for example, if you take an example of so many other, if you take an example of washing machine, definitely there should be some delay for every operation, for washing, for spinning. If you want to give, there should be some delay. Okay, for every operation, there should be some delay. If you want to give some delay in the embedded systems, we need to use these timers and interrupt controllers. Okay, if you given delay directly, like say for example, I want to give some delay like 10 seconds or 15 seconds to a microcontroller. If you insert delay directly to this a microcontroller, if you given delay directly to this microcontroller, it will work, but it won't work exactly, it won't give exact delay. If you want to implement the exact delay, these timers and interrupt controllers will be used. Okay, so that is the major reason why we are going to use the timers and interrupt controllers. Okay, coming back to this serial communication, parallel communication, serial ports and parallel ports. So these are the communication ports which is used to communicate with other embedded devices. Okay, so many communication ports are like UART. Okay, UART like CAN, SPI, Ethernet, so many other I2C. Okay, universal asynchronous and receiver and transmitter, control and area network. So many communication ports are there. Okay, so we are going to communicate other embedded devices by using this, like UART communication ports are there. So which comes under this serial ports as well as parallel ports. Okay, and if you observe this input devices as well as output devices. So what is an input and output? Input and output. To generate a required output, we need an input. Obviously, in this 805 microcontroller, there are 4 ports. Okay, every port acts as a bidirectional input and output. We are going to give the input by using these ports, and we are going to get the output by using these ports only. Okay, this is all about the input devices. And if you observe this system application specific circuit, okay, embedded systems need some application specific circuits like a DMA circuit, which means that direct memory access controller like A to D converter, analog to digital converter, a D2A converter, in that PWM circuits of D2A converter. All these additional some additional specific circuits. Okay, these are the application specific circuits which you are going to use in these embedded systems. Okay, direct memory access will be used, analog to digital converter will be used, modems will be used, mean that A to D converter will be used. All these things, all these application specific circuits will be used in this embedded system hardware part. Okay, this is all about this slide. Power supply will be 5 volts, depends upon our applications, depend on the processor will be used. Timers and controllers will use to give some delay. We are going to use these timers and the interrupt controllers. Input and output will be given. I mean that to generate the required output, we need an to generate a required output, will give the input, right? So program memory is, which is also called as code memory. Okay, data memory, which is a temporary storage of data. This is a data memory. Serial communication ports communicate with other embedded devices, like if you see UART, like CAN, SPI, so many are there, I2C, so many are there. These are the communication ports which is used to communicate with other embedded devices. Okay, system application specific circuits like embedded system need application specific circuits like a DMA controller, A to D converter, D to A converter, PWM circuits. Okay, these are all about the slide of embedded system hardware part, right? So fine, coming back to this slide, how a microcontroller knows the logic? This is a big question. How a microcontroller knows the logic? Can anybody respond? How a microcontroller knows the logic? Can anybody respond? You are reading that, or like how a microcontroller knows the logic? So obviously via code, right? Okay, so definitely we will yeah, exactly, good Mahesh. Yes, as per the code, microcontroller knows the logic. Okay, so whatever the application, whatever we are designing, there should be a logic. For the logic there should be a code. The code will be inserted to the microcontroller. That code will be understood by the microcontroller. It's already had a code installed on it already. No, yeah, actually we have to insert the code. Internally there should not be any code of microcontroller. Okay, so depends upon our application. We need to generate a logic. As per the logic we need to write a code. That code will be understood by these microcontrollers. So in which where we will write a code, like so many platforms are there, right? We are going to use this embedded C programming language to write a code. Those instructions are specified by manufacturer. We need to use those. Yes, so user, that's what I'm saying, that okay, depends upon the user requirement. There should be a logic. As per the logic, the code will be they'll write a code. That code will be inserted in the microcontroller. As per the code, the microcontroller will works. Where we'll write a code, we are going to write a code in embedded C programming language. Okay, so in this total program we are going to write a code in embedded C, which is a very easy as like C programming. Okay, I hope it's clear about this side. Microcontroller the logic only because of the code, and as per the user requirement, he is going to write a logic. As per the logic he is going to write a code in embedded C. This code will be understood by this microcontroller. This is how the microcontroller knows the logic. So what skills you should have? Yes, are you getting my screen? Yeah, what skills you should have? Like obviously we need definitely software skills as well as hardware skills. So if you observe this software skills, embedded C programming in microcontroller, interfacing microcontroller with different sensors and peripherals, kernel programming, device drivers, real-time operating systems, innovative thinking, all these are comes under these software skills. Okay, right side part, if you observe this, these are all hardware skills: electronic circuit designing, power supply circuit designing, printed circuit boards, and troubleshooting skills. Okay, guys, don't focus all these like interfacing microcontroller with different sensors and peripherals, kernel programming, software parts. Okay, here we are going to use the software skills like embedded C programming, the most important, and as well as for the hardware part, we are going to use this Proteus software. Okay, so there we'll assemble all the components in this Proteus. Okay, and then we are going to insert a code to this Proteus, okay, to run the application. Okay, these are the skills which everybody should have, that software skills as well as hardware skills, if you want to become an expert in embedded systems, right? Where is my mouse? Okay, so these are the examples of embedded systems. So many examples are there, like digital watches, traffic lights, printers, mobile phones, medical equipment, MP3 player, robots, routers, climate control in automobiles, etc. These are so many examples which we are using in our daily life, right? Digital watches, traffic lights, printers, mobile phones, medical equipment, MP3 player, robots, routers, climate control in automobiles, etc. So many are there. Okay, these are some examples of the embedded systems which are going to use in our daily life. Fine. Let's go back to this next slide. sectors in which you will get an embedded system jobs. I just remember that if you are done with the, if you completed your BTech, or if you are in progress, if you are in progress, let's see in which sectors you'll get a jobs in embedded systems, like medical electronics, aerospace, automobiles, defense, toys, consumer electronics, food industry. So many are the telecommunication. There is this remaining. I Okay, etc. So many are there. I don't know why it's not going down. Fine. So many sectors are there, like medical electronics, defense. Also there is toys, consumer electronics, food industry, telecommunication. Yes. So medical electronics, aerospace, automobiles. These are the sectors where you'll get an embedded system jobs. Okay. So if you are interested in any of the sectors, you can go ahead with that. Fine. And let's go for the next slide. Difference between embedded systems and general purpose systems. Guys, can you tell me the difference between embedded systems and general purpose systems? Like, can you give an and you have to tell me that what is an embedded systems, as well as what is a general purpose systems, and you have to give the example of embedded systems and general purpose systems. If you are done with this, I hope you are listening to the class. So what exactly is an embedded systems? Please respond in chat box. What is a tell me about embedded systems and general purpose systems. I hope you are all typing. I think so that I'm waiting for you. What is an embedded systems? Up to, yeah, designed to perform, whereas general purpose systems are designed for more than one tasks. Okay, for multitasking. Can you give an example of embedded systems as well as the general purpose systems? One particular task will be given, whereas GS are multi. Yes, good, Meghana. Refrigerator, okay. Embedded systems, LED blinking. Traffic lights. PC, PLC, okay, good. PCs, good. So embedded systems, they are designed to perform a specific task. Obviously, whatever you said is correct. So general purpose systems are used to perform a multitasking. And here, if you observe the second point, not programmed by the end user. Whatever the code which you inserted in the microcontroller, we do not change it. We will insert the code by using the dumping kits. By using the dumping kit, we will insert the code into the microcontroller. Once if you insert the code into the microcontroller, we do not change it. Okay, or else if you want to throw that microcontroller. Okay, so that's the reason they said that they are not programmed by the end user. Here, if you observe this program by the end user, obviously we can change as per the instructions. If you can change the instructions at last also. In general purpose systems, low power consumption. In fabrication process, here in the embedded system, so many technologies are like CMOS technologies are also used. So many technologies are used in this fabrication process of embedded systems. So that is the reason majority of embedded systems is low power consumption only. Okay, low power will be used in these embedded systems. Definitely there should be high power for this general purpose system. Fixed time constant, do not have any fixed time constant. Specific tasks, that's why more economical. Okay, do not have a fixed time constraints. Okay, I don't want to go deeper into this. Obviously they are designed to perform a specific task. Multiple tasks not programmed by the end user, programmed by the end user. Obviously in fabrication process, low power, so many technologies are implemented in the fabrication process, like CMOS And we are going to see the CMOS technologies in this 805 microcontroller. Low power consumption, it takes a low power and generally high power consumption. Okay, these are about the difference between general purpose systems. Guys, in embedded systems, everybody have to aware of this. What is a processor, microprocessor, what is a microcontroller? Okay, so what exactly is a microprocessor? Can anybody tell me what exactly the microprocessor is? Guys, remember that I am not reading any slides. I'm just explaining you with an examples. With it gives you more clarity. Okay, the content is more important for us. What is a processor or a microprocessor? What is a microcontroller? Can anybody tell me? What microprocessor consists of? What microcontroller consists of? Yeah, microprocessor. What is a microprocessor and what is a microcontroller? Obviously, processor is the heart of an embedded system. That's what we discussed in before slides, which processes all the inputs and take. So all the inputs are tasks given to it. Okay, that's a good point. Which process all the inputs and tasks given to it. Control is given only for the particular. That's okay. Control is okay, fine. So obviously microprocessor is a single chip. It control all the components like memory, input and output devices. Okay. So the execution of this microprocessor will be there in the sequential way. The execution of this microprocessor is in a sequential way. First of all, it fetches the instructions, decodes the instructions, okay, and then it executes the instruction. Okay, this is a process of microprocessor. Okay, first of all, it fetches the instruction, whatever the instruction you have given, it fetches that, and obviously it decodes it. Okay, it decodes the instruction and then it executes it. This is a process of microprocessor, and it consists of three parts. What are the parts which are there in the microprocessor? Can anybody please respond fast, because we have to see that softwares also. Make it fast, guys. What are the parts which will be there in the microprocessor? What are the parts? Obviously registers will be there, ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, will be there, timing and control unit, right? ALU, registers, yeah, timers, okay. Okay, three things, three parts will be there. It consists of registers, ALU, arithmetic and logical unit, and timing and control unit. What exactly the registers will do in this microprocessor? What exactly the registers will do? It acts as a temporary storage location. It acts as a temporary storage location for performing the instruction. Okay, register stores the address. That's good. It acts as a temporary storage temporary storage location for performing the instructions. Okay, for example, let me take an example. If you want to add two numbers like 5 plus 7, okay, so you'll write a code like this: a is equal to 5. It will be stored in this registers because it acts as a temporary storage. Okay, there's a temporary value and this is a temporary storage location. Okay, a is temporary, a is equal to 5 is temporary, so that it stores in the registers. So that's the reason it acts as a temporary storage location for performing the instructions. Okay, so what exactly the ALUs will do? Obviously, from sixth standards we are learning that ALUs are like performing the arithmetic and logical operations like that. Okay, it performs the arithmetic and logical operations. What exactly the timing and control unit will do? Is a third part, like after registers, arithmetic and logical unit, the final part is like timing and control unit. So what exactly the timing and control unit will do in this microprocessor? Generates the timing and control process? No. So it keeps all other parts like memory, Timing and control unit keeps all other parts like memory, registers, ALUs, input and output. All these parts should working together in the right time sequence. Whether all these parts are working in the right time sequence or not, it is observing, the main purpose is to make all these parts should work in a right time sequence. Okay, so ఇవన్నీ పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా వర్క్ అవుతున్నాయా లేదా, వర్క్ అంటే ఒక వర్క్ అవ్వకపోతే అవేలా చేయడం దీని పని. Like timing and control unit will do all these things. Okay, keep all other parts like registers, ALUs, memory working together in a right time sequence. Working together right time sequence lo work avadaaniki we are going to use this timing and control unit, right? So remember that guys, microprocessor consists of ALUs, registers and timing and control unit. Externally we are going to connect the memory unit, we are going to connect the memory for this microcontroller. Input devices and output devices will be connected externally to the microcontroller. Important point, only the registers, ALUs and timing and control unit will be there in the microprocessor. Externally we have to connect the memory, input devices and output devices will be connected externally to the microcontroller. This is the important point. So this is all about the processor or a microprocessor. I don't want to go into deeper into this slide. That's what we discussed now. Okay, what exactly this is a various microprocessors like in the Intel company 4040044040. I hope you heard about this 8086 microprocessor, right? In MPMC uh, what we call MPMC subject, you'll get 8086 microprocessor, right? So which belongs to Intel family, Intel company. Okay, these are various microprocessors which are there in the market. Okay, that's what that's what about the microprocessors. I don't want to repeat it. It's very clear for you, I hope. So what exactly is a microcontroller? What exactly is a microcontroller? Microcontroller is used to perform a specific task. That's the most important point. And obviously, guys, remember that whatever the memory input and output devices is externally connected to the microprocessor. But in case of microcontroller, where memory like CPUs, serial ports and peripherals are internally will be there in the microcontroller. This is a major difference. Okay, we no need to connect the external memory or like external devices to the microcontroller, because internally the CPU will be there, memory will be there, like serial ports and peripherals will internally will be there in the microcontroller. This is the best use, right? See, for example, if a user requires more memory, we can connect the external memory to the microcontroller, but still internal parts of the microcontroller is like CPU control and I mean that processing unit will be there, like memory will be there, serial ports will be there, and peripherals will be there in this microcontroller. This is the difference between the microprocessor and microcontroller, right? We don't want to fetch all devices, like we don't want to connect the external devices to this microcontroller. This is a major change or a major difference between the microprocessors and microcontroller. These are various microcontrollers. uh, if you observe this in Intel family or Intel company, 8031, 8032, 8051, 8052, you know, 8751, 8752, all these are microcontrollers. Okay, here we are going to use one particular microcontroller called 8051. Okay, which belongs to Atmel family in Intel company, which belongs to Atmel family. In that 8051 family, Atmel family, we are going to use one particular microcontroller called AT89C51. AT89C51, I'll tell you what exactly AT89C51 microcontroller is, which belongs to 8051 microcontroller families. Okay, these are various microcontrollers. Okay, fine. We are going to use this 8051 microcontroller. In this 8051 microcontroller family, we are going to use one particular microcontroller called AT89C51. Remember that. Okay, that's what I said. The CPU, timers and control units will be there, peripherals will be there, serial ports will be there. This is all about what we discussed up to now. So there is a difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. Okay, ALUs will be the registers, will be the timing and controls will be the registers. I mean that in microprocessor, registers, ALUs, timing and control will be there. In microcontroller, CPU, memory, serial ports, peripherals will be there. This is the difference. Bit handling instruction is less, one or two types only. Bit handling instruction is more. Okay, in this microcontroller, It is used to design general purpose, obviously multi-purpose systems. So we are going to use this microprocessors. It is designed to perform a specific task. Microcontrollers are used to design a specific task. This is a major difference between most important. That's what I said, that internally memory, serial ports, peripherals are internally will be there in the microcontroller, but if you want to connect the memory to the microprocessor, we need to connect externally. Okay, there is no internal memory will be there in the microprocessor. This is a major difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. And fine, that's what I said you in this 8051. So there are so many microcontroller families are there. 68H12, Motorola 68H11, and it means that in this 68H12 family, different types of microcontrollers are there. Motorola 68H11, 68HC12. Okay, in this so many microcontrollers are there. If you observe this 8051 microcontroller families, we are going to use Intel 8051, 805 to 80251. We are going to use this 8051. Okay, that's what I said you, that we are going to use 8089C51 microcontroller. Okay, fine. I hope we are done with this introduction part. And let me see, there are 2 or 3 sites. These are the softwares, programming language we are going to use is embedded C only. We can use these programming languages also to write a code, guys. Remember that. But we are going to use only embedded C in this total course. Okay. Keel for compiler, we are going to use the Keel. Okay, these are the softwares which you are going to use to write a code. I don't know why. So these are the applications: household appliances, audio players, cellular telephones, engine controlling automobiles, calculators, video games, aircrafts, medical equipment, defense system, etc. So many are there. Okay, these are the these are the applications of embedded systems. Okay, household appliances, audio players, cellular telephones, engine controlling in automobiles, calculators, video games, aircrafts, medical equipment, defense system, etc. So many are there. Okay, fine. Guys, so if you observe this slide, autonomous cars, okay, self-driving cars. If you heard, I hope you heard about this. By using the embedded systems, we are going to use, we are going to drive the cars. Okay, self-driving cars. We can call them as a self-driving cars. Okay, by using this embedded systems, if you observe this CAN bus, okay, what is that CAN bus? Which comes under the communication port. Which comes under the communication port, control area network. Okay, by using this communication port CAN, we are going to control the actuators like gas, steering, and brakes. Okay, in embedded systems, we are going to use this CAN bus, which means that communication port. By using this communication port, we are going to control the actuator, steering, and brake. Okay, this is the main use. This is a major use of this embedded systems. Okay, I hope it's almost there in the market in foreign countries. Self-driving cars are there. By using the radars, it is going to detect what object or what vehicle is coming in opposite direction, what vehicle is going, or what vehicle is in front of this car. Okay, which is everything will be done in these autonomous cars. Okay, by using the radars, by using this controller, I mean that control area network, it means that the communication ports. Okay, these are the communication ports. By using these communication ports, we can control this actuator, steering, and brake. Okay, this is a small example for you, like in applications like how to use this embedded systems in automobile. And this is what exactly the washing machine will do. We discussed it in the first slide. Okay, washing machine is used for washing the clothes, spinning, rising, drying, wash over by blinking. Okay, so these are the applications. This is how the washing machine will work. Okay, for every operation there should be some delay. If we want to give some delay, we are going to give the delay by using timing and control, guys. So if my power na current gani pothe matram I'll inform you. Mean that sudden ga if my video got struck, no worries, I'll join within 5 minutes also, because the climatic condition is too bad now. uh, I'm just informing you. Okay, this happened for so many times like this. Okay, fine, thank you. Washing machine, this is the application. This is how the washing machine will work. So for every operations like washing, spinning, drying, washing over by blinking, for every operations there should be some delay. If you want to give some delay, we are going to give the delay by using timing and control unit. Okay, remember that, most important. Okay, we can't give the delay directly, like for washing in between washing and rising, we need to give some 1 minute of delay. We can directly write, we can write that, but it won't work exactly. Okay, fine. Thank you guys. Guys, if you have any doubts in this total introduction class, you can ask me, and we will discuss about that. Okay, give me some time that I just want to take the screenshots. Guys, if you have any doubts, you can respond in chat box. Guys, I will discuss about it. Even if I don't know, I will discuss. If you are done with that, please respond. అర్థమైతే ఒకసారి ఓకే సార్ అని డన్ సార్ క్లియర్ సార్ అని ఏదో ఒకటి పెట్టండి. Embedded systems, let me take snipping tools. Guys, give me only 2 minutes because I just want to take the screenshots because I want to send the screenshot for my higher authority. Okay, please respond if you have any doubts, or if you do not have any doubts. Top embedded systems batch 12. Guys, are you doing with SEM exams? Actually, the registrations are coming. It's okay, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you. Yeah, a little bit of knowledge will be needed, and that too I'll explain you. Okay, I don't want to jump directly into the code. Okay, I'll explain you how to write code also, what are the steps involved in embedded C, everything. Okay, that's the reason why I'm here. No worries about that. Completed our semester exams. Okay, you completed your semester exams. That's okay. The people who are, yes sir, I'm having till November. Okay, that's what Mahesh, so that's the reason why I don't know, majority of students are not registering for this courses. But systems, yes, I will take this slide. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ ఎప్పుడు సార్? నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ ఉంటుందో లేదో తెలియదు మహేంద్ర, ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడే 10 మంది వచ్చారు. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ దాంట్లో నేను ఒక 9 మంది ఉన్నారు. నెక్స్ట్ బ్యాచ్ 5 మంది వస్తారు. మేబీ ఐ డోంట్ నో వెదర్ ఇట్ కంటిన్యూస్ ఫర్ యువర్ బ్యాచ్ ఆల్సో, ఐ డోంట్ నో, బట్ that's my responsibility to take the class today. Whenever I send these screenshots to my higher authority, they'll think about it. Even I too don't know your batch will continue or not. We'll try to make your batch continue. ఈ బ్యాచ్ మన ఫ్రెండ్స్ జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చు మహేంద్ర, ఎందుకు జాయిన్ అవ్వకూడదు? You can make them join. Send the meeting ID. Send the meeting ID. Try to join them. Registration link అవసరం లేదు మహేంద్ర. So whatever the meeting ID which I posted in the WhatsApp group, please send that meeting ID for them. Make them join. Okay. No need of registration. If they join from tomorrow class, it's good for them. If do not join for next class, తర్వాత జాయిన్ అయినా అర్థం కాదు అంతే. Yeah, meeting ID will be same throughout this total program. There is no change in the meeting ID, but for every class I'll post the meeting ID. Yes. Guys, so this is the introduction part. I hope it's clear for you guys. And let me go ahead. Before that, I'll tell you one point. Give me a second. Okay. Before that, guys, in this total program, we are going to use, I said that we are going to use one microcontroller called AT89C51. Recorded class untai nanna. I'll send you by evening. Today class I'll send you by evening. AT89C51. This is our microcontroller which belongs to 8051 family. Remember, that's most important. Okay, this is by using this microcontroller only we are going to insert a code into this microcontroller, especially into this microcontroller, so that before that before going to the software, so let me tell you about the pin diagram of 8051, because more than 9 days we are going to discuss about this 8051 microcontroller. So what is the pin description? So guys, can anybody tell me, like, how many ports are there in this microcontroller? Like, how many, uh, anybody please respond, how many ports are there? What are the additional functionalities will be done by using this 8051 microcontroller? Like, what is the internal memory, internal ROM? I said that uh, memory, code memory will be there, right? Program memory will be there, okay, which we can call it as a ROM, or we can call it as a code memory. How much of memory internally will be there? I said that memory will be internally will be there for microcontroller, right? We no need to connect the external memory. Depends upon our applications, we can connect the external memory, but internally there should be, there will be, you know, internal memory will be there. 40 pins, that's good. That's good, Sushma. How many ports are there? How many ports are there in 8051 microcontroller? Good, good, Meghana. Good, good. 4 ports. What is the clock frequency of 8051? Or you can call it as 11.05. Very good. Fine. How many address buses? I mean that address pins are there. How many address pins are there? Address pins 20. 8. Any more? Any more? $15. Any answers? 64. Fine, no problem. You tried best. Dharani. Dharani came near to the answer of how many address pins are there. Fine. Thank you, guys. Thank you for responding. I need this, because if there is a communication between the between you and me, definitely the class will be good. Okay. Let's go back to this pin description. Okay, pin diagram of 8051. Guys, remember this. There are 4 ports are there: port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Right? These are the 4 ports. I said that 5 volts DC power supply will be there in 8051 microcontroller. Okay, 5 volts will be there. Internally 5 volts will be there in 8051 microcontroller. Guys, remember this. Guys, are you getting any external noise from my side? Can you please respond? Is it getting disturbance? Guys, are you getting any disturbance? If you are getting any disturbance, sorry from my side. Okay. Yes, sorry, Mahendra. Guys, extremely sorry from my side. Okay, so there are 4 ports: port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Okay, 5 volts internally will be there for 805 microcontroller. If you observe this pin number 1 to 8, pin number 1 to pin number 1 to, if are you getting my mouse there? Kanipistunda? So fine, from pin number 1 to pin number 8, which comes under port 1. So the only use, and it acts as a bidirectional input and output port. So this port 1 will won't do any other functionalities except taking input and giving output. It acts as a bidirectional input and output port. Remember this. Port 1 acts as a input and output port only, bidirectional input and output port. No other functionalities will not be done by using this port 1. Clear? It means that from pin number 1 to pin number 8 is clear for us. Coming back to this pin number 9, which is a reset pin. Okay, so this, by using this pin we can reset the total microcontroller to the initial value, as like switching a switch off the phone. Okay, if you are doing any program or any work in the mobile phone, if you switch off the phone, obviously the phone will restart from initial point. As like by using this reset pin, we can reset this microcontroller to the initial value. Okay, fine. From pin number 10 to pin number 17, which comes under port 3, and this port 3 is also acts as a bidirectional input and output port, but some additional functionalities are there. RXT and TXT. If you take pin number 10 and pin number 11, RXT and TXT, which means that receiving the data or transmitting the data. We can receive the data from other devices to this microcontroller by using pin number 10, to transmit the data from this microcontroller to other devices, pin number 11. Clear? To transmit or receive the data from this microcontroller to my other devices, or other devices to this microcontroller. By using these two pins only we can do that. Okay, interrupt 0 and interrupt 1 pin, which means that pin number 12 and 13. So if you want to give the external interrupts, okay, the external interrupts will be given by using these two pins only. Remember that the external interrupts will be given by using these two pins to the microcontroller. Clear? 14 and 15, it means that T0 and T1. So by using these two pins, okay, we can measure the time or we can count the external events. Okay, by using these pins only we are going to generate the delay. Remember this. Okay, as I said that by using timers and counters we are going to give the exact delay for the microcontroller. As like by using these two pins we are going to measure the time, and to count the external events we are going to use these two pins. Clear? Coming back to this pin number 16 and 17, these two pins are used to write or read the memory which was connected to the microcontroller. Remember that. So I'll explain you. If you connected external memory to this microcontroller, by using these pins we can read or write the data, write the memory which was connected to the microcontroller by using these two pins only. Okay, receive the data, transmit the data, and external interrupts will be given by using this pin number 12 and 13. Timing to measure the time and count the external events will be by using these 14 and 15 pins. By using the 16 and 17 pins, read or write the memory which was connected to the microcontroller. Clear? Well, coming back to this pin number 18 and 19, external 2 and external 1, which means that by using these two pins only we are going to generate the clock frequency. Guys, how the clock frequency is generated? Remember that by using these two pins we are going to connect the crystal. For every machine cycle the crystal is going to generate the clock frequency. Okay, for every machine cycle the crystal is going to generate the clock frequency. That clock frequency is 11.0592, but ideal case you will take 12 megahertz, but practical case if you want to give the exact clock frequency we will give 11.0592, which is most important while writing a and because when you are inserting a hexa code to this microcontroller, we want to change the clock frequency there. Okay, 24 megahertz will be there, but we have to change the clock frequency to 11.0592. By using this we can connect the crystal by using these external pins. By using this crystal, for every machine cycle the crystal will generate the clock frequency. That clock frequency is 11.0592. Clear? Coming back to this pin number 20, ground pin. Obviously we are all aware of this ground pin. Ground pin is connected to connect for ground. Clear? Coming back to this pin number 21 to 28. Okay, so if you observe this pin number 21 to 28, which comes under port 2, this port 2 is also works as a bidirectional input and output port, but here address byte pins are there. Okay, address will be stored in this port 2, higher address byte pins. We can call it as a higher address byte pins. Higher address will be stored in this port 2, which means that A8 to A15. Higher address byte pins, we can call it as a higher address byte pins. Higher address will be stored in this port 2, which means that pin number 21 to 28. Clear? Okay, coming back to this pin number 29, program store enable pin, PSEN. So this pin will enables or to read the external memory. We are going to use this program stored enable pin. Okay, to enable the stored data, whatever the if you connect the external memory, whatever the program, whatever the code which you are inserted there in the external memory, to enable that, we are going to use this program stored enable pin, right? So let's keep this 30th pin aside. Okay, we can call it as an address latch enable pin. Let's keep aside. Coming back to this external access pin, 31st pin, which is EA, external access pin. Guys, remember that at this point I am telling you that internally this 8051 microcontroller consists of 4 kilobyte of memory. 4 KB of internal memory will be there. It means that whatever the code which you write will be stored in that 4 kilobyte of memory only. So for example, I need more space, like my as depends upon of my application. I'm writing a code very vast, so that I need more memory, like I need 16 KB like that. Okay, more memory is needed. Obviously, we'll connect external memory to the microcontroller. How much of external memory will be connected to the microcontroller? It means that here, if you observe, in port 2, 8-byte memory will be there. In port 0, 8 8 address bytes will be there. Address bytes, I mean the 8 pins are there, 8 address pins are there. Like if you observe this port 0, 8 address pins are there. Okay, it means that therefore 16 address pins. Okay, 16-bit address is there. So that 2 power 16 is equal to 64 kilobyte. 64 kilobyte of memory will be connected to 8051 microcontroller. Remember this. Okay, so what is the use of this external access pin? So guys, if I want to use this external memory, we need to ground this pin. External access pin should be grounded when you want to use the external memory. See, for example, external access pin. Okay, so if you need to use the external memory, you need to ground this pin. If you are using the internal memory only, you need to connect to the power supply for this external access pin. Okay, if you want to use the external memory, you have to ground this pin. If you are using the internal memory of 4 kilobyte, you need to connect the power supply for this pin. Clear? Coming back to this port 0, like 32 to 39, this pin also acts as a bidirectional input and output port, but this is an active low port. Remember this. So internally 5 volts DC power supply will be there in 8051 microcontroller, but this port, like port 0, acts as an active low port. There is no power supply should be there for this port 0. If you need to connect any if you want to use this port 0, definitely you need to connect the power supply. So if you want to use any like port 1, port 3 or port 2, you don't need to connect the external power supply. Internally 5 volts DC will be there, which will be access for this port 1, port 2 and port 3. Remember this. This is an active low port. Okay, Lavanya left. So coming back to this pin number 32 to 39, which comes under this port 0, it consists of address and data. So it acts as a multiplexer. It means that it stores the address as well as data. How do we know that This port 0 consists of address or data. How do you know that? So in this case, we are going to use this ALE pin, address latch enable pin, 30th pin. So if you want to find it, acts as a demultiplexer. So if you want to find which address, I mean that address is storing in the port 0 or data is storing in the port 0, we can find by using this. Like see, for example, if AL is connected to 0, for example, if AL is connected to 0, obviously there is an address in port 0. Data, sorry. If AL is connected to 0, data is stored in the port 0. If AL is connected to 1, address is stored in this port 0. This is the only use of this port 0. Right? It is a multiplexer, like address and data will be stored in the port 0. How do we know that this port 0 is consisting of a data or address? By using this address latch enable pin. Like if there is, I mean that if you connect 0, definitely data will be stored there. If you connect 1, obviously address will be stored there. Okay, this is all about 30 port 0, which is an active low port, and obviously VCC is a power supply, 40th pin. You all are aware of that. Ground pin and VCC pin, you all are aware of that. These are the additional functionalities which is done by this port 3, port 0, and port 2. Clear? This is all about the pin description or pin diagram of 8051. If you have any doubts, you can ask me now. I'll clarify you. Okay, up to here, if it's clear, I'll 1 second, let me take the screenshot. Internally 5 volts DC power supply will be there. So that's the reason ports like port 1, port 2, and port 3, all these ports are active high ports. 4. So port 0 is an active low port. Okay, it consists of address and data in port 0. If you connect 0 for address latch enable pin, obviously data will be there. If you connect 1, obviously address will be there. Okay, there are 16-bit address is there in 8051 microcontroller, so that we can connect 2 power 16 is equal to 64 kilobyte. 64 kilobyte of external memory will be connected to 8051 microcontroller. Right, clock frequency is 11.0592. By using the crystal, we are going to generate the clock frequency 11.0592 megahertz. I just want to mention the image. Fine, guys, if you have any doubts, you can ask me in chat box, or like I'll jump into the software. I don't know what is the fine. Thank you. అయితే అర్థమైందా అర్థం కాలేదా అంటే కమ్ముగా ఉన్నారంటే అర్థమైందా? Open your Chrome. Thank you. Okay, guys, open your Chrome. KEIL. Open your keel. Ciao. Open your Chrome. Guys, make it fast, please. Open your Chrome. Type keel download. KEIL download. Sir, I have Keil Microvision 4. Is this enough? More than enough, Mahesh? So I'm going to download Keil Microvision 5 because it's a little bit of update of Microvision 4. There is a small change in this Microvision. I mean that Keil Microvision 5 is that we can directly select the microcontroller of 8089C51. But in case of Microvision 4, we have to go for Atmel family. Then we have to select the 8089C51 microcontroller. This is the major difference. I mean that's small difference. So guys, type Keil download. If you are following, it's okay. Okay, Keil download. Go to the first link, Keil download. You'll get a page like this. Go to this product download. then you will get a page like this, and go to C51. C51, click on the C51, give your details, guys. Guys, 1 second. Guys, give your details there, first name, last name, email, company type like 000. If you are a student, type student, or if you are doing any job, it's your wish, whatever the details you want to give. Definitely you have to make this India. Obviously we are Indians, India. We have to select this, and guys, type here AT89C51, because we are going to use this particular device, this particular microcontroller. Okay, okay, please keeping updates, better to type. Okay, this is my details, and just submit it. Okay, you'll get a page like this, guys. If you remember, if you click this link directly, you'll download the, you'll get a download, software will download directly. If you do not get this, right click on this, open in new tab. If you click this, and the software will get downloaded, because there is software, I don't want to download it, I'm just explaining you the process. Okay, 18. Guys, are you following? Okay, I hope that's not a big task for us. Go to Google, open your Google Chrome, type Keil download, Keil download, Keil download. Open your first link. If you open the first link, it will ask the product download, or something like that. Click on product download, and again go to this C51, which is C51, which is our microcontroller. If you click on that C51, you'll get a page like details page will be there. Okay, go to your details, give your details there, and click on submit. Down down there is a device which is 8089C51. We have to type there 8089C51, and if you get submit it, you'll get a page like this. If you click this, you'll directly download the Keil software, or like if you do not get that, right click on this, open link in new tab. Obviously if you click this, the software will get download. It takes 2 or 3 minutes if net is fast. If it may download within 2 minutes. Okay, guys, if you are done with that, guys, how many are having laptops? Actually, I got messages like, sir, there is no laptop for me, something like that. How many are having laptops? Can you please respond in chat box? I am having. Okay, Mahesh. How many are not having laptops? How many are not having laptops? Ushma, okay. PC sir, okay. ఏదో ఒకటిలేండి. I'm having, okay. So, అంటే ఇప్పుడు అందరూ I hope you are all doing right now, right? So make it fast. Laptop లేకపోతే ప్రాబ్లం లేదండి. I'm just asking you that whether you are doing or not, that's it. And in coming classes, I'm going to give the presenter for you. You have to share the screen. Whatever the task I done, parallelly you have to do that, and you have to show me that. If I ask, I want to take the screenshots, okay? Guys, are you following? Are you doing? Is it downloading? Please respond. As if your friends, if your friends are interested to join in the class, please let them join. Make them join. Call them. Give your meeting ID. Make them join for the next class. Because the only reason is that if this if the attendance is like 9 or 10 like that, maybe uh, this may be disabled. Okay, the program may stop, I think so. I don't know. So that's the reason. Uh, make them join. Make them join for next class. Guys, the software is downloading or not? Please respond. Whether doing or not. మేఘన సాఫ్ట్వేర్ డౌన్లోడ్ చేస్తున్నావా? ధరణి yes good. డౌన్లోడ్ అయ్యాక ఒకసారి ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేయండి. I'll go with Proteus. As after downloading the skill, it's very easy to install. If you open that link, whatever the downloaded folder will be there now. అది ఒకసారి ఓపెన్ చేయగానే it's very easy. As like normal softwares, next అని అట్లా ఆప్షన్ వస్తుంటది. After 2 or ఒకసారి అట్లా నెక్స్ట్ కొట్టిన మేఘన what is that? Okay. Next అలా కొట్టిన తర్వాత there it will ask the details as like what we have mentioned in the before slide. ఓకే, అలా పేరు అలా కంపెనీ నేమ్ అలా ఇచ్చేసేయండి. ఇచ్చేసాక ఇఫ్ యూ టైప్ SSS and the software will get installed. It's very easy process. Try it. So let's try. Please డౌన్లోడ్ అయిందా కాలేదా అది క్లారిటీ లేదా సార్? ఈజ్ ఇట్ వాట్ ఈజ్ నెసెసరీ? ఇట్స్ మ్యాండేటరీ. దిస్ స్కిల్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఇస్ మ్యాండేటరీ. సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కోడ్ మనం రాసేది కీలోనే ఉన్నా. So can you please tell me once again, sir, what I want to tell you? Phone is not possible. it won't support. ఇక్కడ దాకా అర్థమైందా మేఘన? లైక్ అప్ టు దిస్ పేజ్ ఇక్కడ దాకా అర్థమైందా? ఓపెన్ యువర్ గూగుల్ క్రోమ్, టైప్ కీల్ డౌన్లోడ్, ఓపెన్ దట్, ఓపెన్ యువర్ ఫస్ట్ లింక్. ఇక్కడ దాకా అయ్యాక రైట్ క్లిక్ ఇస్తే ఓపెన్ లింక్ ఇన్ న్యూ ట్యాబ్ కొట్టంగానే ఆబ్వియస్లీగా ఇన్ లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ యుల్ గెట్ ద సాఫ్ట్వేర్. ఓకే, డౌన్లోడ్ అవుతున్నట్టు యుల్ గెట్ ఎ సింబల్ లైక్ దిస్, ఇట్స్ డౌన్లోడింగ్ అని. ఓకే, సార్ డౌన్లోడ్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళి చెక్ చేస్తే కనిపించిందా? ఓకే ఫైన్. If you are done with this, I'll go with Proteus and I'm going to give only 5 minutes. డౌన్లోడ్ అయ్యాక జస్ట్ ఫోల్డర్ ఏదైతే డౌన్లోడెడ్ ఫైల్ ఉందో దాన్ని డబుల్ క్లిక్, రైట్, నెక్స్ట్ గివ్ యువర్ డీటెయిల్స్, email id, name, something like that. It will ask like that, and give your details there and click next, and software will get installed. Sorry. Guys, have you done with that? Can you please respond? Okay. Yes. Okay, Lakshmi. Mahesh, have you downloaded this Proteus software? I have, sir. Okay. Yeah, Proteus 8. Where you downloaded all these stuff? Okay. Yeah. Which college you are? Okay. Okay, guys, have you done with skill? Okay, let we end up here up to kill. Tomorrow we'll see the Proteus software installations. It's a little bit of complex.